Was anyone really asking for this? Were there really legions of fans rallying in the streets demanding that a trilogy be made from Son of Batman? I mean, it was okay, but hardly the stuff of greatness. Plenty of stronger entries exist in the DC animated lineup. I'll bet some audiences are still waiting for a follow-up to Wonder Woman. Regardless, here we are with the third entry in this bizarre series, Batman Bad Blood. The film begins with the Caped Crusader seemingly meeting his end at the hands of a new criminal gang. Weeks pass, and the Dark Knight's absence soon prompts the return of Nightwing, who assumes the mantle of his former mentor to keep the city from descending into chaos. Elsewhere, Batman's son Damian also hears of the situation and resolves to help investigate his father's disappearance as Robin. Soon, the reluctant duo encounters a mysterious new vigilante known as Batwoman, who was the last one to see Batman alive. Together, these unlikely allies must contend with some dangerous figures that might hit closer to home than anyone expected. Now, with a story like that, it's easy to see how this could be great. We have a fairly intriguing setup and a nice mixture of new and returning characters. The narrative ingredients are all there. It's just a shame that the script never takes full advantage of these elements. Instead, it opts to tell a painfully standard mystery that offers few real surprises. When the big revelations do start coming, you get the sense that the heroes should really be affected on a deeply personal level. But instead, the whole affair basically boils down to the bad guys wanting to destroy the city and the good guys having to stop them. It never goes much deeper than that, which is a shame and severely hinders the development of our main players. The returning characters remain largely the same throughout the story. I never felt like I learned anything new about them. The only one who goes through any real change is Nightwing, who must reluctantly take up the mantle of Batman after having spent years trying to forge his own path. It's an interesting idea that leads to some compelling moments, but it never comes full circle. Maybe it would have been better if he had his sweet 90s mullet. Then again, that's probably just wishful thinking on my part. Regardless, the film would rather spend time introducing the two newest members of the team. Batwoman is perfectly fine. She has a compelling backstory that helps you understand why she puts on the mask, but by the end, you don't really feel like she has much of a personal connection with the other costumed crime fighters. At times, it seems like she belongs in an entirely different story. As a result, it's tough to get fully invested when she's fighting alongside the other members of the team. Batwing, on the other hand, is just tacked on. When he shows up toward the end in full costume, it doesn't feel earned given how little we actually know about him. He's only ever painted in broad brushstrokes. However, at least he's more defined than the villains. Man, are they dull. The only one with any real identity is Talia al Ghul, but even she's relegated to a boring, two-dimensional antagonist, acting in a way completely contradictory to how she was in Son of Batman. The rest of these guys are just generically evil henchmen, serving only as obstacles for the heroes to overcome during the action scenes. That being said, the action itself is very accomplished as usual. The animation lends itself well to the fight sequences, which offer a fun variety of both aerial battles and stylish hand-to-hand combat. As unengaging as these characters might be at times, I'm consistently impressed by the fluidity and creativity of these fight sequences. Adding further energy to these scenes is Frederick Wiedmann's musical score, which admittedly sounds very familiar in its themes, but it still gets the job done. The same goes for the performances. The returning actors like Jason O'Mara, Stuart Allen, and Sean Mayer all fit comfortably into their respective roles at this point. With each new installment, they get more and more natural with their deliveries. In addition, Morena Baccarin is noticeably better here than she was in Son of Batman. In that film, she was somewhat wooden, whereas here, she injects the character with a bit more of a spiteful edge. However, she's ultimately outshined by Yvonne Strahovski, who imbues Batwoman with a hostile sarcasm while mixing in just a hint of suppressed sorrow. This could not be more appropriate given the character's tragic past. Even Gaius Charles, who's not given much to work with, manages to put a fair amount of personality into his brief time as Luke Fox/Batwing. Yes, Luke Fox, as in the son of Lucius Fox, voiced here by Ernie Hudson, who brings an admirable gravitas to what is ultimately a thankless role. That really sums up the movie's biggest issue. It doesn't take advantage of what it has. This story could have been about legacies, about passing the torch, about forging one's own identity. Alas, no. At the end of the day, Batman Bad Blood is content with merely being a serviceable yet disappointing tale that never lives up to its full potential. Although it benefits from its capable cast and impressive action scenes, the underwhelming plot and underdeveloped characters make it one of the more forgettable entries in the DC animated lineup. Thanks for watching, feel free to like, subscribe, and/or comment. Until next time.